Hello, awesome new lifers. So thank you for taking a few minutes to listen to this. I've got 3 things over 3 weeks that I just need to make sure that you are aware of. Before I jump into that though, if you weren't there on Sunday at the beginning, this past Sunday, at the beginning of service, I shared how we as a church, we were able to do something generous because of those of you who give financially. We had, and there's a whole series of kind of accidents of how a young 18-year-old woman reached out to us. She's in a crisis pregnancy. She thought she was reaching out to someone else, but I don't think it was any accident that we made this connection. And a conversation began to develop through Messenger that ended up with one of our leaders, Elizabeth Ratzlaff, and myself having lunch with this young woman this past week. And what we heard was a pretty amazing story, authentic story of overcoming some incredible trials in her life. Though at this point, again, she's 18, she's pregnant, she's not married, not in a serious relationship. And her story was compelling. And afterwards, we were able to go to Dillon's and actually bless her with a $250 Dillon's gift card so that she could get groceries and get some food. Because again, it's just an amazing story. And I want to share this. She actually came up to me after service this past Sunday and gave me this thank you card to you. She writes, "Thank you, New Life Church. Your gift allowed me to buy groceries for myself and my baby girl. I appreciate it so much as my food stamps just got cut because she now has a job with income. And my job hasn't paid me yet, my 2 paychecks yet, so a little bit behind on that. Growing up, I've struggled for a long time, being kicked out at 17, living in a children's home, living in shelters, worrying for food. Something that may be so small to you means so much to me. Finding out I was pregnant at 18 wasn't as very scary, and I feel very alone. So God bless you all, and I'm just so grateful." And the amazing thing about this young woman is she's actually living in a home that she's paying rent on. She is paying her way through school. She's working a night job. So again, thank you so much for those of you who give financially to New Life, because we were able to just freely do this because we have those resources. Now, the 3 things that I want to make you aware of, and the cool thing is they're happening like week after week after week. So on October 22nd, in 2 Sundays, we're going to be kicking off a marriage and relationship series. This is an excellent opportunity to invite someone to come and sit with you and offer to buy them lunch. Just invite them to that first weekend. Then the following weekend, October 29th, we're going to be having our annual chili cook-off. It'll be a potluck. You don't obviously have to make chili to come, but it's just going to be a great community connecting time. We will set up the room differently. We'll have round tables instead of just rows of chairs. And we will just transition from the message, which will still be part of the marriage series. Then we'll transition into the chili cook-off potluck. And again, just a great weekend to invite guests to come, because they'll have hopefully a great church experience, and then this opportunity to have some great food and connect afterwards. And then the weekend after that, which is one of my favorite weekends of the year because it is time change weekend, we go back an hour. Well, on that weekend, and we picked it on purpose, we're going to experiment with something. As most of you have heard me talk about, we have a huge heart for those of you who are leading and serving, and I don't like the word volunteers because it's just not big enough for what you do. But we know that's a commitment to come most Sundays, to set up, to tear down, and especially for our Kids Life volunteers who are not able to be in the adult service when they're serving in the kids. And some couples, some individuals serve 2 and sometimes even 3 weekends a month. And we're just not okay with volunteers and leaders burning out. And so we've been working and connecting with other leaders to fuel our creative ideas of what we can do to build you up and pour into our people. And so what we're going to experiment with is what we're currently calling as a volunteer service. And what this will look like is that everyone who is volunteering on a given Sunday be in early enough to get everything completely set up and ready for the first people to walk in the door that aren't serving that weekend, or for our guests, by 9:10 a.m. Then at 9:15, for everyone who wants to, we'll gather in the adult service room. And for those of you who have kids with you in the morning, and your kids, you just feel like they won't really be able to engage in an environment in that, the intent is that we'll have at least 2 individuals who are going to be in the adult service later on that morning basically take your kids and just go be in probably the elementary room, maybe the preschool room, and just be there with them and keep them entertained, keep them happy. We're going to bring in some food. We're going to feed your kids so that they're going to be happy and cared for. And for the adults, our intent is to bring in something a little more robust than just donut holes to feed you as well. And then the worship band, they need to practice anyways, and it'll give them more practice. But actually, this will become an intimate service for those of us who are serving together on a Sunday morning, trying to go after this vision together of creating the kind of church that the unchurched, the de-church would love to attend and engage. And so that way, everyone, and especially our Kids Life volunteers and leaders, will be able to leave on a Sunday feeling more than that they just came in, set up, tear down, poured into someone else, and then left, but that you will have been poured into as well, that you will have had a chance to experience worship, to experience community and connection, and experience that together. And looking at doing like a 15 to 20 minute service where there'll be maybe two of the worship songs and then abbreviated, more of a devotional type message. It might hit the highlights of the message of whoever's speaking that weekend, whether it's me or someone else. It might be something totally different. But the whole point is we want to make sure that we are pouring into every single one of you. And as long as we're one service on a Sunday church, there's going to always be that challenge of making sure, again, that everyone, especially our kids leaders, get a chance to get poured into and feel like, again, they experienced church that morning. So I hope this makes sense to you. And so on that Sunday, hopefully it'll be far more easier for you, and especially those of you with kids, to be able to get in at that earlier time, because again, you will actually have turned the clocks back an hour. So your kids are going to be getting up earlier anyways. So we're going to experiment with this. And if it goes as well as I believe it will, it'll be something that we introduce and we begin to do something, begin to do together more frequently. So I just want to get those things on your radar so that you are aware. We wrap up. We're building to the climax this Sunday of the Forgotten Way, Should I Stay Christian series. The following weekend, we launch the marriage series on the 22nd. The chili cook-off will be on the 29th. And then that following weekend, our volunteer service. And just so you know, even if you're not volunteering or you're wanting to explore it, you're welcome to come for that as well. But I'm looking forward to all of these things. Your different ministry leaders will be touching base with you over the next couple of weeks. And this is just a really cool time for New Life. And so I just want you to know I appreciate all of you so much. I love you. I pray for you. I daily carry the concern that you are moving forward in your spiritual growth and moving towards spiritual maturity, and that you are feeling a greater connection to God. And clearly, especially as we've been talking through this series, I'm deeply, deeply concerned and passionate that we are passing on an enduring faith and a selfless love to the next generation. And together, we, partnering with God and Him working with us and leading the way, we can make this happen. So I'm so excited to be a part of this current season and the things that we've got coming up. I love you, and I definitely hope to see you this coming Sunday.